There, yes, welcome back to your agenda programme. Thank you there to Harry Styles. Lots of messages coming in on the subject of whether or not people feel engaged at work. This person says the pressure to churn out work is tremendous, especially in the area of digital marketing, for example. A week's worth of work is expected in a day, and AI isn't helping. If anything, it's enslaving the workforce. Interesting. John Lyons from Espace Real Estate has got in touch. He says, "Hi, George, I hope you're well. From my personal perspective, there is no doubt that AI is the biggest game changer of my career. It's already transforming the way I live and work, and it is clear that this is just the beginning." And yes, AI obviously transforming the global workforce at what can only be described as breathtaking speed. But are our organisations, are we ready for that pace of change? Now, according to that Gallup survey we've just been talking about, it's on the state of the global workplace. Most people haven't yet tapped into the full potential of AI. And managers are really feeling the pressure. They are sort of squeezed between the tech-driven expectations from above, and then there's this sort of rising demand for empathy and flexibility from their teams. So how can people get it right? How can managers get it right? I would love to hear from you. Keep your comments coming. Are you seeing AI in action where you work? Is it helping? Or is it, at the moment, making things harder? There is that sort of balance. Let's speak to someone now who is training staff at major employers like DP World and Cartier, basically training them to use AI in their workflows. Joined in the studio now by Damian here. He is the co-founder and CEO at Capitec. Hello, lovely to have you here. How are you doing?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
How are you using AI in your corporate setting?
Yeah, so we've developed a AI tutor system that we integrate within our custom e-learning products. So at Capitec, we've been involved in custom learning for over a decade now, building onboarding programs, compliance programs, now AI programs as well, learning management systems, metaverse academies, and so on. But what we saw was a real opportunity to start to leverage AI in the way that we can increase engagement, which you talked about in your last segment, as well as make our learning even more adaptive to improve those learning outcomes for organizations.
Okay, so what type of tasks can you train AI to undertake? So you're teaching employers how to use AI, and what can they use AI for then?
Yeah, absolutely. So the way we've done it is we're leveraging the flexibility of AI here. So if we take an example of a compliance program for an organization, and DP World you mentioned just before, they're rolling out a compliance program across the globe, and we integrated the AI tutor that's trained on their organizational processes, on their learning objectives and more. And then what that allows a user to do while they're going through the training allows them to ask questions in many different languages to enhance what they will be hoping to learn in those segments.
Okay, so that's how the AI tutor is working, is it?
That's right, yes.
It sort of gives them, it takes them by the hand, so to speak. Okay, so what kind of questions are employees typically asking the AI tutor?
Yeah, we get all kinds of questions. So
yeah, I mean, I'd be like, how does this work? Who are you? Who am I?
yeah, there's absolutely a lot of that. There's a lot of curiosity to start with because whilst almost everyone now has interfaced with a different type of chatbot, it's the first time they might be seeing it in the learning setting. So at the start, we get a lot of hellos, what are you, what can you teach me about, and so on. And then as people get more comfortable with it, they start delving more into, okay, can you teach me a little bit more about this? They might ask them questions in a different language, like so they ask to explain in their own native tongue, for instance. And then the situation I love to see is where they ask it to put into their specific context. So can you apply this policy for me in a scenario related to warehouses and so on? So that's where the AI really comes into its own.
This is when you're asking it questions, are you also giving it prompts? Is that kind of the same thing? Because I know we're all supposed to be learning how to prompt AI. Is that just asking it questions?
Well, so what we're doing here in the AI Tutor product that we have at Capitec, it's already been pre-prompted to optimize the learning outcomes and focus specifically on the learning. So the learner will just go in there and ask the questions related to the content. And we've constrained it in such a way that we only allow it to talk about the topics that are related to that specific module.
Okay.
So separately, we've developed an AI course that is going into more and more of, AI prompting, safety and whatnot. And we launched that in collaboration with AI Week as well.
Oh, good on you. I mean, I have to say, everything is tied into AI Week this week, isn't it? It's quite full on. If you don't work in AI, you do feel like you're sort of caught up in a slight tsunami this week, which is, it's interesting. Keeps on our toes. Okay, so does the AI that you're using to teach employees, does it continue to learn while it's being used?
Yeah, that's one of the most exciting things about this. And more generally, what we can do is, if you look at the DP World example, they've got 120,000 staff across the globe talking 15 different languages. So we can take all of the questions that they're asking and the feedback that they provide at the end of the module as well. And again, we utilize AI to summarize all of that. So then we can quickly identify organizational or learning gaps within the training, find out what people want to learn more about, and then update the content so that we can be more agile when it comes to making sure we're teaching them what they need to know, what they want to know. So absolutely, we can modify training much more quickly, and the development cycle is much faster than what we could do before, so that we're making sure we're improving those learning outcomes.
This all sounds very sensible and practical and frankly non-threatening. And I think people quite often feel quite threatened by AI. Do you think courses like the ones you've introduced in the various different companies are just going to become the norm? And are they going to become the norm soon? Because it does sound like from this Gallup report that there is a real need. People are nervous, people are uncomfortable, and they need help.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like AI will become more and more ubiquitous in organizations. Every company wants to be more efficient. They want to leverage the latest technology and so on. And by leveraging AI in learning to start with, you're going to make sure that you're giving the best possible outcomes that you can have from those technologies by educating your team on the way that they can use AI as well. Like we were talking about before we started about leveraging AI for some of the work that you do as well. The more you're prepared to be able to do that, the more efficient and effective you can be at the workplace. And learning is just one great example where we can leverage these technologies across organizations in the region.
I have to say, I still feel gently competitive with AI. Whenever it writes a cue or an introduction or a list of questions, and I feel like it's doing it better than me. I instead of thinking, oh wow, this is an amazing tool I can add to my repertoire, I actually feel mildly threatened by it because it's better than me. So I think that's an emotion that we're all just going to have to learn to acknowledge. Damian, thank you so much for joining me in the studio. I really appreciate it. Damian here, they're co-founder and CEO at Capitec, and they are training people at all sorts of different companies from DP World to Cartier. Thank you so much for your
Thanks
time.
for having me.
Incidentally, Damian got in touch with us, by the way. He messaged us, told us what he was doing, and it is amazing to get someone who listens to the show on the radio. There's a really sort of lovely circular element to that. So Damian, thank you so much.
Thank
you. News is next.
Your ARN News.
I'm Serena Kelly. The UAE President